This episode is brought to you in partnership with London Experience Week and was recorded live at this year's event at the iconic Ministry of Sound. And in this episode, I sit down with someone who believes that world building isn't just a design tool, it's how civilizations are made, broken, and remade. And once you hear him explain it, you'll never see the world the same way again. I know I certainly haven't. So Abraham Burickson is the co-founder of Odyssey Works and one of the most genuinely fascinating thinkers I've ever sat across from. He trained as an architect at Cornell, studied poetry and playwriting, lived with communities deep in the Ecuadorian Amazon, and has spent over 2 decades asking one question: what does it truly mean to experience something? And what could we build if we designed from that place? And what blew me away in this conversation is how Abraham applies world building to everything, not just experiences, climate change, education, how children lose their agency, how we've built a world that treats nature as something to take from. He reframes Rosa Parks not just as an act of courage, but as someone who broke the physics of a world. And then he asks the simplest, most radical question: before you design anything, ask yourself, what do I wish for this person? And I've been thinking about that ever since. And I think you will too. So without further ado, please welcome Abraham Burickson. So Abraham, welcome to the Experienced Designers.
It's wonderful to be here.
It is, isn't it? And so where is here?
Where is here?
Where is here right now?
Right?
Where are we?
We're in a little world, aren't we?
We are indeed.
Yeah, it's kind of, should we just start right there with this world?
Yeah.
Right? We're in this little we're in a tiny room, right? With all this stuff at a conference, right? In WXO community in London, right? It's like, right?
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
And then you and I are in roles.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a show. And you are podcast, show host, and I am the guest.
Yeah.
And it's totally known, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to be inquisitive, kind, interested, curious, smart, but supportive, right?
Yes.
That's your role.
That is.
And I'm supposed to be,
open,
generous. Yeah. I'm supposed to be humble, but not too humble.
Yeah.
And brilliant, and sneakily brilliant, because both of us depend upon that.
Yes.
Right. And so we're in those roles that we set into. And you and I have been together another time.
We have.
Because you went to a workshop of mine.
I did.
Which is a different world.
Was a different world.
Same people, different world. Similar roles. But in that one, you got to be a student.
Yes.
Which is a different zone, right? And you got to be a little bit more, I would argue, open, a little bit more introverted.
Yeah.
Right? Like your role said you can look inward.
Yeah.
And I was asking you to look inward.
Yeah.
I was leading you. Here, you're leading me. Right? It's so interesting. And we don't even think about that. And then I go home. My father used to say, he used to say, it's really important to have a family, because if you have a family, there's somebody who knows you also snore and stink and say the wrong thing and are pretty dumb about economics, right? I go home and I'm with my kids and I'm with my wife and right? I'm a different person. And yet I'm me. But the world keeps determining, and I don't know about you, but I don't see the difference. I just flow from one to the next to the next.
True.
I feel like I'm consistent.
Yeah.
And yet I'm not.
No, we're not.
And so there's there's a moment when you see yourself being the wrong person. And there's times when you're at a job, for instance.
Yeah.
And you're playing along. It just unsticks, right?
Yeah.
Or in a community, it unsticks. I think people, when they're, for instance, a minority, right? And they're in a community and they're playing along. They start to feel like it's not them because it's like, maybe you're a person of color in white space, right?
Yeah.
And you go there and then you're like, I have to play this role and it's not me, and it kind of unsticks, right? There are times when we don't actually feel right and you start to recognize, oh my God, I am always becoming what the world that I enter into wants me to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, it can shake you.
Yeah. It can tire you. I mean,
it can tire you too.
That gap of that maybe mask that you have to wear to, protect or to, I can totally hear and feel that.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, I'm sure you're a jerk sometimes.
Of course
I have never seen it. I have never seen it.
You should ask Nina.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure your partner can tell me that you're a jerk sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm a jerk sometimes. But like, we're not going to be jerks here.
No.
And you need to be a jerk, right? We have shadow selves. We have all this stuff going on. And so it can be like horrifying to recognize that I am just who the world is telling me to be. And it can also be totally liberating.
Yeah.
Like, why did people love Sleep No More so much? Right? Why did they love putting on the mask and becoming this ghost so much? I would argue it's because they never get to be that person.
No. So let's challenge ourselves to be that person a bit today.
All right.
What should we do for that? Yeah?
Yeah?
I haven't got a mask that we can put on, but maybe just subtly, and we can be,
Just like a little bit not this.
Yeah.
You think it's possible?
I don't know.
We're on camera.
I don't even look at the cameras. I'm just here.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
You're so accustomed to them.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
They're just a thing.
They're just the thing. Okay. There's a big umbrella right there.
There is, giving us sunlight.
It's not raining.
That's good.
It's not raining. There's a big umbrella right there. I know I'm pulling down the whichever wall it is that I'm talking about.
So what are we going to explore together today? What's our overarching narrative or theme that we want to cover today?
Whatever you want, because you're the boss. But
that's my role. Okay.
That's your role.
Okay.
You're the boss. I'm sorry, we're still there.
I'm giving you agency.
Giving me some agency.
Because we challenged ourselves to, so I'm there.
But this is what I'm interested. I'm interested in world building, like as a life project, as a community project, as a civilizational project, right? Because I think in my research and in my life, what I've seen is that, like, most of our problems could be understood as world building problems. The climate crisis, right? We have the technology. We know what the problem is. We have the science. We could fix that in 5 minutes, right? But we don't. Why? Because of the way we've built the world.
Yeah.
All the wars and crazy social shit that's going on, and especially in my country.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But all over the world.
Yeah.
As world building challenges.
Yeah.
The way children, for instance, are interacting with social media, being damaged by it. It's a world building project, actually.
Yeah.
Right? All of these things, you can look at them as technological problems. You can look at them as like somebody is doing something evil, but you can also look at them as world building challenges. And it's a novel approach. Of course, we need all those other things, but I'm right now and this year and in my work in general trying to provoke this question: how could we build our world differently? And it's a lot of the people you talk to, the experienced designers, who are really adept at it.
Yeah.
Right? We play around with world building in fantasy worlds. We build narratives. We figure out like how to put together a user journey that opens people to a certain way of seeing things. Like, this is what we're studying.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all about fantasy.
No. So how are you thinking about that? So, okay, let's reverse that question 1 sec. For those in the audience, because some of our audience are more in the business end of the world, should we say, non-experiential and design. Let's just start 101, like world building.
Yes.
Just talk us through that to give us some context and some foundation.
Sure. Okay, so first of all, we're talking about subjective experience of the world, right? Like the world objectively is what it is. We have the planet, we have the air, all that stuff. We have people, they have bodies, whatever. All that. That's the objective world. But the subjective world is the subjective experience of those. So for instance, physics, right? Every world has physics. And if you look at made up worlds, they have different physics, right? You look at Star Wars, you can move things with the Force, right? Right? They have different physics. But in our world, we have our own subjective physics. And that's understood as, for instance, how we move around and affect things. Right? So here in London, you walk, you bike, you take the tube, maybe you ride in a car, right? These are the ways we move around, right? And you drive on the wrong side of the road, right? and you have certain personal space around yourself that people don't bump into, and you move in certain rhythms through the day and the night, right? This is a subjective physics, right? And to think about something totally different, right? In the United States, in the South during Jim Crow, the physics was white people could sit anywhere on the bus, and black people had to sit in the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Right? This is physics of a world. It's not physics of an objective world. It's physics of a social world.
Yeah.
But it is in us, right? So when Rosa Parks refused to go to the back of the bus, right? It's like, it's a little thing. It's a tiny little thing. And yet, transformative.
Yeah.
Because she broke the physics of the world. You can consider that a miracle.
Yeah.
Right? Gandhi, similarly, you can understand Gandhi, who had no weapons and overthrew the greatest empire the world had ever known, as doing that through world building, right? So the physics, there's the population, like what we were talking about at the beginning, who we are, not just like you're Steve, I'm Abe, but like you're Steve, the host of the show, I'm Abe, the guest, with all that it comes with that. You are not, Steve, the partner of your partner who's like sometimes awesome and has all these faults, and I'm not Abe who's like, has these problems and can't make a good dad joke, right? Like that's who we are in this world. That's the population. Every world has a population. And in Star Wars, it's Ewoks and Jedis and all that, right? Here it's this. Same principles.
Yeah.
And then we have history and myth. We have an origin story. Like once you start pounding this into your brain, everywhere you look, you're hearing origin stories, right? Like, how did this show start?
Yeah.
Right? 5 minutes ago, somebody asked me the origin story of Odyssey Works, the company I run. 5 minutes ago, I get asked it all the time, right? There's these little ones. Well, how'd you guys meet? Right? And there's big ones like, what happened in 1066? What is the origin of the English language, right? And of course, we know these are sculpted myths of origin. Like maybe they're related to the truth, maybe not. It's sort of irrelevant. What they do is they tell us the moral core of a world. They tell us what it's about. In my country, there's a lot of arguments about that origin story right now.
Yeah.
It's a tough argument. The country is destabilized because of it, right? A stable world has a known origin that we all agree upon.
Yeah.
When that origin story is destabilized, the world is, and look at what's happening in the United States, right?
Yeah.
That you could say maybe all of this goes back to that problematic origin story that wasn't really good enough, right?
Yeah.
And then we have the current story, right? The story that's happening now. Our story relative to that. What is experience? What's the origin of experience design? Where are we in that story? That every world has this. Every world. And you see in marketing, there's a lot of sculpting of it, right?
Yes.
That's our origin story. Oh, we were founded by pioneers, right? We were founded to save, right? And sometimes you're like, you're bullshitting me, right? And that's when it's not stable. You don't believe in that world. And sometimes you're like, that is the origin story. Like Meow Wolf. You know Meow Wolf?
I do.
And so, I was like, oh, who are these people? Oh, they did a crazy thing. And I'm like, maybe I'll go see it. Yeah. And then I saw they made a movie. You know what the movie was called? origin story. Meow Wolf origin story. You watch it, and it was good. It was so good, right? You're like, oh, these were just a bunch of scrappy artists fighting against the system to make their own kind of art in their own way.
The bigger, the better as well.
Right? And they're just, the crazier, the better, right? Yeah. And you're like, I'm into it. I want to go. And I went with that. That was my origin. Not the story they wrote. That was the origin story. That was why I was going, right? We go because of that origin story, which tells us the meaning. And then you ask, okay, now Meow Wolf is $1 billion company with opening stuff all over the place with the union battles and and they've had some troubles. How does that compare to the origin story?
Yeah.
So every world has that.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't have that, people are looking for it. You find yourself looking for it. What's this place about? Right? And then the last thing, which is the thing we usually think of first, is the aesthetics and material culture.
Yeah.
Right? You think, oh, world building.
How's it look?
Right? How's it look? And it's great. It's super important. But those things, it all ties together, right? Like if you look at, why do we like steampunk? Why is steampunk so exciting? Well, it's fun to look at, sure. It also bespeaks a time when the individuals had agency over the mechanisms over the world, right? Like I pick up my phone, I don't know how that thing works. Like I have some abstract ideas, but I certainly am not getting in there with like a screwdriver, right? I'm not like making a flying machine. Like that's not happening. But for those people, it was. And some dude was like, hey, let's make a flying machine. And then in his backyard, he pumped something full of hot air, helium or whatever, and suddenly they're flying over Paris, right? Right? It's not just that the thing looks cool. It's that I look at a me that I could be in that context, which is an amazing thing. So world building is all of these things.
Yes.
And we're so used to thinking about it in, Westworld or whatever.
Yeah.
But like we're building it in our families.
Yeah.
We're doing it in our workplaces. We're doing it in our small communities. We're doing it in our larger communities, in our neighborhoods, and in our religious organizations. It's the same project.
Yeah.
So part of my dream is to bring these tools from the experience design world, these expertises, into the rest of our life.
Yeah.
Because we need it.
We do need it to solve some challenges that we have.
Yeah.
Can I just also add in the world build piece as well? Are there elements for things like lexicon language? I mean, I know in your book, there was a piece around symbols and the importance of symbols and stuff. Where does that kind of fit into that?
Look, it's all together. Yeah. But we like to think about it as population and language.
Okay.
Right? Because they're so tied together. Who I am and the language I use are kind of continuous, right? And people say language is culture, right? Yeah. One of my favorite essays, the Corn Wolf, he says, a whole mythology is embedded in this language, right? And you look at it, and it's not, when I say language, it's not like English. It's like this community's use of English, right? Seeing you can look online, look at like Gen Z lexicon. It's so weird, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're like, whoa.
Each generation has its, for sure.
It's identity through language.
Language, yeah.
And so there's this long, amazing history of conlanging, of inventing languages, which is really a stand-in for reinventing culture, right? Almost all those languages died on the vine. Esperanto kept going. Which is interesting. I mean, it's not going, it didn't take over, but Esperanto was a language built on an ethic of anti-nationalism, right? Of internationalism, right? Because they saw what happened. Like, we could use some more Esperanto, right? Right? Like there are people who are native Esperanto speakers, not a lot, but there are some, right? They still have their congresses. Like it's definitely losing steam. It's very hard to invent a language because really the languages are emergent from all these other things.
Yes.
Right.
I'm fascinated by language. I think it's such a global, I've moved to countries a few times and it's fascinating to see just linguistically and from a language, just how vastly different they are.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on language, but I just had a reflection on the train the other day, listening to some Portuguese. I was like, God, it's just fascinating to watch their interaction and their body language and their
which is part of the language, right? Like you can think of all the symbolic structure around you as part of the language. Like what is the semiotic mode of your community, including language and body language and symbols, right? All these things, right? You've moved to UK, Sweden,
and now Portugal,
right? And like there's this idea which is contentious in linguistics it's called the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. It's contentious, but it suggests that we can't think things we don't have language for. Right. Or conversely, if we get language for something, we can think it, right? And in Portuguese, that word saudade.
Yes, the one that has it has no meaning, or it has a multi-meaning. What is it?
Has multi-meaning. I don't know if it's in Portugal. It's in Brazil.
It's in Portugal as well. Yeah, I know that. I came across this word recently.
So interesting, right? Yes. And it's a kind of, I can't really describe it, but it's
we can't describe it in English. Yeah, right? It doesn't, yeah.
It's like nostalgia plus sentiment plus longing for something that it's like you miss someone, but they could also be there. Like, right? It's a complex emotional state.
Yeah, fascinating. All wrapped up in one word.
All wrapped up in one
part
word.
Of Lexicon.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pick up the kind of the world build structure that we've just shared.
Yeah.
And then let's maybe look through that looking glass into maybe an area that you either are working within or aspiring to take it into. What does that kind of look like, and what's some of the kind of work or reflections that you have from that?
Yeah. We have these two. Odyssey Works is my organization. We have a school, which is a year-long school in experience design, and we have a foundation. And the foundation has a couple of projects right now. There's 3 projects, 3 main projects. One is about kids, one is about AI, one is about climate. And the one for kids is directly intended to address a couple of the things that I think we hear people talking about a lot. And I'm a parent, so I'm one of those people, right? This kind of loss of attention, right? Because of technology and culture and various different reasons. Loss of agency for some of the same reasons. And I've been a professor for a long time, seen a lot of young people. Over the years, more and more, they would say things like, who am I to have an opinion? You're in a great school. You should have it. You're in graduate school. You're going to be a master. You should have an opinion, right?
Yeah.
Who am I to have an opinion, right? This kind of loss of a sense of agency, and people, you hear it all around, and there's research and all this. And social media is an issue, but there's more. There's this, and I see it in myself. This longing for my children and other children to have a sense of agency, and there's also loss of community.
Yes.
The isolation of the nuclear family.
Yes.
Right? And so we said, okay, this seems like an escalating contemporary problem. Let's look back at experienced designs of the past that have dealt with this better.
Yeah.
Right? And we looked at myth, right? We think of myth as like, oh, it's the story of, this God doing this thing, right? Or you can look at, you can consider Judeo-Christian myths as like, stories as myths, which they are. Adam and Eve is a myth, right? And we said, well, how did they actually function? And did a bunch of research. Like, really, you didn't just read a book. You didn't just read the myth. You're like, now I know the myth, right? In fact, these myths are pre-literate, right? They were in communities, right? They were oral traditions, but they were also cultural traditions, right?
Yes.
If you're a Christian and you're engaged with the Jesus myth, right? Regardless of whether or not you think it's true, which is a whole different issue, you are engaging with this model of this way of being, of this idea of transformation, and then you are seeing the people in your life representing the characters in the story, and people are doing it over and over again. Oh, the Good Samaritan. Oh, self-sacrifice. Oh, the money changers in the temple, right? These become archetypes that you begin to see in your life, and people step in and they play those roles. And then you take communion, and you are part of the story in a multi-sensory way. And this is a story that isn't like one day you go to, you pay your ticket, although you do tithe, right? You pay your ticket at the church and you see the show, you're like, that was a great show, right? No, it's like with you from the day you start engaging with narrative, right? All the way through to these, and it's there to assist you in transforming yourself into different roles in that society, from child to adolescent to adult, and it assists you in that.
Yeah.
And the whole community is part of it, and you understand all these adults as part of your narrative world, right?
So what happens if like from the children point of view, they don't have the agency, as you described, in this kind of environment? So they're not kind of, as they're growing up and the adults they're becoming, maybe they're not actually contributing they're contributing in a much more reserved way, not leaning in as much or assuming, I don't even know what kind of role, but it wouldn't be potentially as one of contribution potentially. It might be more one of more reserved or more,
so the role.
Like the role is less around contribution.
Exactly.
It's because the agency, the voice, this is my voice and my agency to, I'm just, there's something in that. I'm just bring that together.
Right, there's a question of empowerment.
Yeah.
Right, and so if you look at these systems, like what is a coming of age? It's graduation from childhood to adulthood.
Yes.
And with it comes very specific roles and responsibilities.
Very quickly.
Right? Very quickly. People take them on. Like you look at indigenous cultures, those kids, those 13-year-olds, they are grown-ups.
Yeah.
Right? And so you can take a look, for instance, at a bar mitzvah, right? What happens? The 13-year-old leads the congregation. You step into the role of your parent, right? And in secular culture, we're largely bereft of that. I would argue residential, college, university experiences confers some of that, right? Yeah. That's the dream. And you go away from your parents, you come back transformed. Like there is something to that, and you've been hearing about college all your life or university all your life, and this idea of education, right? That works as a myth, but it's thinning out.
Yeah, it is. Agree.
Right? And it's, there's economic reasons. There's lots of reasons for that. But if you look at traditional cultures, you look at small scale cultures, you look at religious cultures, you see these myths are everywhere. Everybody you meet plays a role in that. Your parents do, your uncles and aunts do, the friends do, right? There are mentors built into the community, right? And they empower. And you go through that transition and you are empowered in the eyes. And we have this blame thing. Kids these days, they're so messed up.
Yeah.
They need to try harder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you look at it from a world building perspective, it's like, this is what our world produces.
Yes.
This is what our world empowers them to, right?
Yeah.
The world, the word adulting was not around when I was a kid, right? Like it showed up now as an option, right? You do it or you don't, right? So like, what does it take to build that world? And so one of the things we're looking at is like, okay, traditionally, it's not the parents who are the mentors, right? How do we build in other mentors who are not paid, right? Who are not teachers or professionals, right? Who are like actually because they have a love for the child, right? So we built in these story masters into our system, right? And they are people that the child's already connected to, but not parents.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can be pure. It's not Luke's aunt and uncle. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's like the weirdo down in the desert, who becomes the mentor. Yeah. Right. And those people can be a little purer as mentors, right? And because they're not so complicated. And then like you look at traditional narrative, they have all these narratives that we know, the call to action. That call to action is an inner call. What does it mean to make that, right? What does it mean to give a child ownership over these narratives, right? Why do you read books now and you say, wow, that book was so good, they made me read it in school and I hated it?
Yeah.
Right? There's something about the agency of you finding it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Rather than giving it and told. Yeah.
Right. And so we build that into the kids' experience, and then we work with the tools of building wonder and awe and sacred community amongst the kids, so that they have a cohort that is looking forward to the idea of becoming masters of story keeping.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
And we want them to own their stories, so that's why it is focused around that.
That's really nice. It's kind of a gamification, kind of that ownership and that feel of progression.
Absolutely.
And knowledge. In relation to applying world building into this context,
Mm-hmm.
and actually maybe also looking at others as well, does it? I know the construct is fluid, but I'm just wondering, like, if you overlaid it, whether it enables lenses to see that situation or that challenge, to be able to say, actually, the good starting point would be, we need to realign the origin story, or we need to look at some of the roles as a start point, because we think that's where the entry into the problem can be. That will then have a cascading impact on the other. Does it kind of apply like that as well? Just to kind of that?
And because it's all connected, anything's a great entry
absolutely,
point.
because that's the point. Because it is connected. Anything you do over there will understandably have some ripple elsewhere.
Right. And the point is to, like, okay, you start changing language. What does that mean for social rules? What does that mean for, right? What does that mean for all of these things?
Yeah.
And then you have to be thorough. You know, we did a whole branding exercise. We had a great graphic designer. Like, what is the branding that speaks to the world that we want these kids to enter into? I used to teach in a graphic design program, right? Like, like really understand that. What is graphic design? Graphic design tells us what the world is, actually. It tells us how to go this way or that way, what's expensive and cheap, what's handmade, what's professional, right? It tells us all these things. Right? So we got to use those tools. You know, one thing I like a lot about this approach of thinking about things from the point of view of world building instead of problem solving, which is a traditional design approach. I come from design world. Is it's not saying what's a problem we can fix. It's saying, what is the world and the life we want? And then you can see problems along the way, but you're moving towards an aim as opposed to reacting to a problem.
I love that, because we're even, if I just go back to when I studied design thinking, it's all around problem solving. There was always when you build starting a business, what's your ICP,
right?
And what's the problem you're solving? It's always geared. The language, the consistency. Yeah, it's true. We definitely don't create enough of the space or the focus of, let's imagine what it is that we actually want to create from that place.
Right.
Yeah, I love it.
And there's so much brilliance out there, right? There's so many brilliant practices, you know, that you can draw upon, like you mentioned, gamification. What is gamification? It really understands how you structure motivations.
Yeah.
Right? Myth. You can look at religion, you know, like talk about branding. Right? Like, look at the Catholic Church. Like, they've got aesthetics and material culture down. Maybe it's too much, right?
Yeah.
You know, and they also understand rhythms and times. Like, what is a holiday? But a moment in the structure of time to build the world, right? We have events. We talk about events in the experience design world. We talk, you know, we're really focused, get people to this thing, right?
Yeah.
But we don't generally think about, like, experience design over the year, over the lifetime, right? Religions do. They build in events, right? What is a calendar? Time is continuous. Why does a year start in January? Because we need this, because we need to structure our time around a certain mode of attention. Around a certain communal development, right? That is aligned with our values. This is brilliant stuff. Right? If we can monkey with that, we're monkeying with the mechanics of the universe. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah, I recently discovered that Judaism, which, you know, I grew up Jewish and I was like, this is absurd. I was like, I got to wash my hands this way and walk left, knock and kiss the door. And it seems like a joke. You know, I was really a purist, right? And I've come back to talking to other Jews about some of the things, and I've always loved Passover, which is an experience design dinner. Around storytelling. I mean, come on, right? And they have a Haggadah, and the Haggadah is the script, for how you're supposed to do it. Everybody has a role. It's very participatory. It's multi-sensory. It's all the things, right? And I recently, like, you know, started coming back to looking at this stuff, and I was like, found out there are other Haggadahs. There's a Jewish holiday about loving trees. And it's got a Haggadah, which is an experience design script for how to love trees. Right?
It's funny because there's so many of these things that are just running, and perhaps we don't appreciate on that through the lens of world building, as an example.
Right.
Super interesting.
Right. And there's a few that really work well and continue to work well. And I would argue, you know, college still has some really strong things, just taking people out of context.
Yes.
You know, and graduating them.
Yeah.
Calling it commencement, which is a wild idea.
Yeah.
Right. And the pomp and circumstance and these models, like the staged models. But, you know, we're losing a lot. And there's a kind of suspension of disbelief that we don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's part of what's happening to university, to education. People are not believing anymore that you'll be transformed.
Yeah. Agree.
You don't believe it.
Yep.
It's not going to happen.
No.
Right?
No.
Like, you don't believe you're going to be an adult at 13. It's not going to happen. Trust me. It's not happening. Right.
So I love that, because I just want to reiterate, because it's falling into place, but it's super interesting that, you know, particularly education and kids right now, rather than trying to fix it, problem solve. I love this. It's kind of like, well, let's just imagine what education could be for future children or current children. Like, let's completely, I don't think there's enough of that in education at the moment, period. I feel like we should almost kind of Control Alt Delete and kind of start again and go, okay, let's just reimagine it now, today. Like and actually get the kids in on that journey to redesign something which is way more meaningful and impactful.
And there are definitely educational systems that are more along that line, and some that are less along that line.
In the US, actually, yeah.
You know, and you know, even Montessori, like there's ones that sort of you begin to see, you know, that instead of looking at it with like is this thing doing that? Are you having the right outcomes? It's very outcome driven, right?
Very outcome.
Like, can you think about instead, like, is this potentiating a way of being? Is this a system that potentiates a way of being for this child that is something we're looking for? Yeah. You know, something that we wish for them. This is another thing that drives us. Like, instead of saying what is the problem we want to solve, or what is the outcome, or what are the measurable effects, we start with, well, what do we wish for the people we're designing for?
Yeah, I love that question.
You know, like starting from an empathetic place, like,
you
know, like right now, there's a funny thing going on your show, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's dynamic and relational, and there's this invisible other person there, right? Who's watching, right? And so, like, there's all these different motivations, like, you know, we both want your show to be successful.
Yeah.
We want people to look at it and say, that's where the brilliance is at.
Yeah.
And I want you to have I wish for you to have a good experience in this exchange.
Yes.
Right?
I am, by the way.
Good. Right. And I wish for them to be moved.
Yes.
Right. And all these conflicting things, but how do I let that, like, when I sit down and I think about it, like, like this wish for a call to action, for something to stir in the hearts of people I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. How can that lead?
Yeah.
Right. How can I get you on board? How can I call you in the same way?
Yeah.
Right. How can I be fed by your wonderful personality?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is feeding, right? Which is like your job, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's really effective, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I can't, how can I be that person instead of the guy who snores, right? And like has other bad habits, right? Which is not going to call people in the heart to action.
Yeah. What do I wish for that person?
Right. How do we serve that wish?
I think we should, I think anyone listening, just maybe we can invite them to think about that. Maybe just today, when they've heard this, maybe it's tomorrow if it's an evening or a morning. Maybe someone you're going to work the office with, or you're in with a project. Maybe ask that question.
Right, because we're all making things.
Yeah,
like,
we
even
are.
if it's breakfast.
Yeah, that's
right?
cool. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you
What
wish
do I
for
wish
the
for? Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's
What do I
cool.
wish? I'm making breakfast for someone. What's my wish for them?
Yeah.
Just anything. I'm putting the towel out.
Well, it's an interesting question because it actually I don't want to use the word force, but it kind of opens up the possibility in your own mind to go, well, how would I present that toast slightly differently? That's funny.
Right.
As an example, because I wish for yeah.
Right. It seems like, okay, it doesn't make any difference.
Mm.
But if I'm doing things from my wish for somebody, I'm living the life that is closer to the way I want to be.
Yeah.
Right. As opposed to
yeah,
just blowing through my life, getting shit done.
Yeah.
You know.
There's an important message in that for everybody.
Yeah.
Can I just want to dive a little bit also while I have you.
Yeah.
Because it affects us all.
Yeah.
Climate change.
Yes. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. World building in this context.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, climate change is a problem in our world, in our objective world.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, it's not a subjective problem.
Yeah.
Right? It's like storms and the world's ending and all of this, right? Like, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
How do we get here? And I get it. There's people who want to deny it. There's that, it's not their fault. It took us a long time to kind of, cotton to the problem, even though Alexander von Humboldt was saying that if we cut down the trees in 1815, he was saying, he's traveling around South America, and he was like, when you clear cut these trees, you change the climate. It's a problem. We should pay attention to this. 1815, 1820s, right?
Wow.
It took us a long time to listen to that.
And many still aren't listening.
Many still aren't listening. Many are intentionally not listening, right? Why, right? And I think we can zoom out and say, well, what is the world we've built subjectively, culturally, narratively, that puts us in this situation? And we can start with this question of who I am relative to nature, right? And it's really interesting. If you dig deep, you see everywhere you look, there's either a hostile relationship with nature, or a transactional or an extractive relationship with nature. In our religions, right? Man shall be the master of the natural world and subdue it, right? If you look at all these nationalist ideas of expansion, right? They're all about like natural resources. Really fun. We don't even think badly of this term natural resources, right? Like natural resources means that nature is a thing to take from.
Yeah.
Right? Minecraft, you dig infinite amounts of ore, right? In your game, right?
Yeah.
Like the narrative is everywhere. Nature is not something that we are in balance with in our narratives.
Yeah.
Right? And so what do we try to do? Well, we try to drive electric cars. We try to recycle. We feel really guilty. We recognize that it's not going to make any difference. Maybe whatever, right? Like we take the guilt on ourselves within this world, knowing that we can't change it, right? And then we hope that we can elect somebody who will sign on to a protocol somewhere. And we do need that.
Yeah.
Right? Meanwhile, however, our sense of self relative to nature, the narrative, is a taker narrative. There's a great book about this called Ishmael, and he talks about the taker mentality, the taker narrative. Whereas indigenous cultures have had a totally different relationship, right? It is as a relative, looking at nature as a thing to be in harmony with, in balance with. Right? Yeah. How did, for instance, we get the whole idea? Imagine how weird it would have been 100 years ago to get a spoon, eat your ice cream, and throw the spoon away. Right? Right? That's because we have this idea that nature provides, the world provides, and we take more.
Yeah.
Right? And we feel guilt. Okay, I'll recycle it. But the fact that it is normal, the fact that it is possible in our world, is part of the physics of this world, and it's part of the narrative of this world.
How do we change that?
It's a big problem, and we're trying to research it.
Yeah.
But like, I think the first thing we can look at is where are these narratives coming from, right? Where are they coming from, and how are they getting in, right? And you look at religious narratives, religious origin stories. They often are interpreted as extractive from nature. They don't have to be.
No.
You could look at Islam, Judaism, Christianity. You could look at them as containing mandates for being in harmony with nature. You have to rewrite that story. But like that story's been rewritten a lot, right? How do we go there with the religious narratives?
Yeah.
And then how do we go there with our education, right? Not how do we create narratives around nature that are not about how great it is that it provides us with these things. What's the argument for saving the Amazon most of the time? Oh, you have no idea how many miracle drugs are hidden there that you could get. Right? How do we change that?
Yeah.
Right? How do we build a love of nature? How do we build a relationship to it that means that it's part of our family? And there are stories, there are experiences, there are holidays about loving trees. What would it be to elevate those? Right? We start in our small communities. We have small communities, and in our small communities, we can affect miracles.
Yeah.
Which means we can change the physics of our world. Right? What's the smallest community? You and your partner, your family, whatever it is, smallest community. Together, you agree on something, you start changing the narrative, right? And then you have bigger communities, right? The Odyssey Works community. We're at a conference right now. There's like 40 of us.
Yeah.
We're thinking about this together.
Yeah.
We're playing with it. We have a sense of optimism, like we could try some things, right? Where does it go in education? Is that like a segment? Like, okay, and here you're going to learn the science of nature, and it's that. Or is education including learning my relationship with the trees, actually with them, actually spending time with them, right? In traditional native cultures, my wife is native, my children have native blood, right? In the United States, Native American. There are all these relationships, all these experiences you do when you hunt, when you come of age, right? Where you are learning about your proper relationship to the natural world.
Yeah.
Right? You're not learning how to get more fish, and you're not saying these prayers of thanks because somebody told you to do it. You're doing it because that is that is how you become a grown-up.
Yeah.
Right? Coming back to coming of age, you become a grown-up by understanding your relationship to the natural world, not by reading a book.
Yeah.
Right? How do we build that in? We have all the tools. We know about world building, right? We know about narratives. We know about creating experiences of wonder and awe. We're working with that, right? We just have to start applying that back into how we're building our families, our communities, our education systems, and we can do it. And we're trying to experiment with how that might happen.
Amazing. It's a big task.
It's a big task.
Yeah. There's a lot I can relate to in that. I think there's definitely there's huge shifts needed in just behaviour in people. And I think going back on the nature piece, I think the other reminder for everybody is that we are nature.
We are nature.
We're not separate from it. We are nature.
Yes.
Period.
We are nature.
And so like this whole notion of like, oh, I need to reconnect with nature. It's kind of like, well, yes, but you are nature in the first place.
Yes, you need to remember that.
100%.
Right.
And therefore you need to look after.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is it to see myself as part of a system? And I think it's not.
This comes back to this whole thing around separation and this whole world that we're kind of this point right now where there's a lot of separation. There's this lack of community. It's loneliness epidemic, et cetera, et cetera. So I think even just with each other, we're struggling right now, never mind with nature. Right. Even though we are part of the whole same system, there is no separation. To me, this is all one big lump of jelly that we're all in.
Exactly.
Thinking we are the jelly. We're all part of it.
Exactly. Just a little detail. Okay. Right? I was a young architecture student living in the Amazon. I went down there ostensibly to study vernacular architecture, I built a house. I lived with this community, the Shuar. They'd never met a white man before, right?
Oh, wow.
Like it was out there. It was amazing and hard. And there's a lot to say about that. But one of the things that really struck me is they talked about monkeys as just another tribe. Like, I could talk about monkeys as just another tribe, but I wouldn't mean it, right? The way they related to monkeys, like, it was personal. Like, they were another tribe, like they were people, right? Like, they had agency, and they did things that pissed them off, and they did things that they liked, and they treated them with respect. There was a leveling. Can you imagine thinking of animals as just another tribe from you, right? Can we imagine? It's so hard, and yet for these folks, it was totally natural. It wasn't just a way of talking.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know how it happened. I don't know how that, right? It was like in their world. Like, it wasn't questioned. It wasn't like something they weren't like, monkeys are another tribe. You have to really, right? It was just like, that was the by, what I learned.
Interesting.
Right? You know, what if, my wife's family are fishermen, Pacific Northwest of the United States, traditional Native American fishermen, and they're not allowed to kill an animal without thanking it for helping them survive, right? They eat meat, they eat fish especially, right? Like, it's a central part of their culture. The word for salmon is the same word for food, right? In Iraq. But what is it to do that, not performatively, but to really mean it?
Yeah.
To really feel it. To feel that, like, be weird for us to eat each other. Right? But, like, at least there would be a protocol where I would be grateful to you for helping my family survive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What are you hoping for the London Experience Week?
Oh man, I just, to be honest, we have, like, there's, like, so much of our community here, so it's like a family reunion.
Yes.
So I love that.
Yes.
I love spending time with people like you, and I hope to learn some new things.
Yeah, me too.
There's a lot of brilliant people here.
Yes.
And along the way, maybe I can see some experiences, like one or two, if I have a minute. So
I got one tomorrow, magician's table tomorrow.
I'm going to Blue Fondue.
Okay, cool.
Which I'm pretty
I might go to
excited
Sanctum tonight, actually.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I want to go
Very
do that.
cool.
Abraham, thank you for entering our world.
Yeah. Thanks for having me in your world.
Thank you for contributing. I always really enjoy our conversations. I know I did your one of your trainings last year at the workshop, which I still share and still do to this day. Some of the elements of what I took from that, which is amazing. One of which is world building as well. So thank you for taking us down, and I really appreciate that we actually really focused on it and went a lot deeper with it. I think for the audience, it's easy to skim and do profile pieces, but actually just to spend time in how you think about world building and where you're applying it is really inspirational. So thank you very much. And
thank you.
Great.
It's such a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cool.